Welcome to chananacademy. In today's class, we'll be talking about basic operation with integers. And the first we'll be talking about is adding and subtracting integers. There are rules that will be applied in adding and subtracting integers. And if you've watched our previous video, you should know what integers are. Integers are the number line from negative to positive. So the left has so this is the number line, the middle is 0, the left hand side is the negative, and the right hand side is the positive. So these are integers. We have 1 and so on, -1 and so on. So these are integers. So if you haven't watched our previous video, please do well to go and check it out. So the first rule says if the signs are the same, add and keep the sign. Let's take some example. If we have +5 +6, what will be the answer? So following the rule, it says if the sign are the same, add and keep the sign. So the sign for 5 is positive, the sign for 5 is positive, and the sign for 6 is also positive. At this point, I believe you should know that the sign that comes before a number belongs to that number. So for example, if you have 6 minus 7, the 7 is the negative belongs to the 7, and there's an invisible addition in front of the 16, which makes it positive. So I'm sure by now you should know this basic. All right. So what should be the answer? The rule states that if the signs are the same, add and keep the sign. So we are going to add and also keep the sign. The sign is positive. So we'll know we'll be having +5 + 6. The result is 11. So which can also be written just as 11. Okay. Let's take another example. Let's say we have -4 -2. What will be the answer? So as we earlier said, the negative belongs to this 4 and this negative belongs to this 2. So if we are to solve with that and using the rule, the sign is the same, so we keep this sign, which is negative, and then add 2 + 4, or 4 + 2 is 6. So the result is -6. I hope you understand. Let's take the last example. If we have -4 -3, we go on again. The signs are the same, so we keep the sign and add the number. 4 + 3, the answer is 7. So that's the rule 1. Rule 2 says if the signs are different, subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Let's take an example. -14 + 9. So what will be the answer? Following the rule, if the signs are different, okay, if these signs are different, subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Of course, 14 is the bigger number here, and the sign that is owned by 14 is minus, so put minus. So what's the next step? It said subtract. So 14 - 9, the answer is 5. So the result is minus 5. Let's take another example. So we have 5 plus 2. So what's the result? This can also be written as 5 minus 2. Can also be written like that. But let's solve like this. So 5 has a positive sign, and 2 has a negative sign. So there are two different signs here. The bigger number, which is 5, the sign is positive. Following the rule, keep the sign of the bigger number, which is positive, and then subtract. So 5 minus 2, the result is 3. Okay, so let's take another example. 2 minus 10. What will the result be? Let's follow the rule again. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Between 2 and 10, which is the bigger number? 10. So keep the sign which is negative, and then subtract. Of course, if you want to subtract, use the bigger number, which is 10, to subtract the smaller number. So let's use 10 to subtract. Irrespective of the arrangement, you use the bigger number to subtract the smaller number in this case. So 10 minus 2, the result is 8. So 8. So our answer is minus 8. Okay, so let's take the last example before we move to the next one. Let's have something like 2 plus 5 minus 10. So what will be the answer? How do we solve this? Alright, if you watched our previous video that talks about the board maths, we said you solve from the left to the right. So you address this first, ignoring this one. So if you're going to go with that, you say the two signs are the same. 2 has positive and 5 has positive. So the signs are the same. You use rule 1, which says keep the sign. So we have positive and then add. So we are adding 5 plus 2. The answer is 7 minus 10. Now we have two signs, and then we have to use rule 2. And the rule 2 says we keep the sign of the bigger number, which is minus. So keep it. And then we subtract. So 10 minus 7, the result is 3. I hope you understand. Okay, let's move on to the next. Alright, the next we'll be talking about is multiplication of integers. And there are two rules. The first rule says same sign, positive answer, which means if the signs are the same, the result is going to be positive. But if the signs are different, the result is going to be negative. Alright, let's take some example. Let's say plus 3 multiply by plus 4, which can also be written as 3 multiplied by 4. Using the first rule, if the signs are the same, the result will be positive. So 3 multiplied 4, the answer is 12. And the result is going to be positive, so it's 12. Let's take another example. Minus 3 multiply by minus 4. Alright. Using the same rule, 1, same sign, so the signs are the same, negative, negative. The result still remains positive, so it's going to be 12. Let's take another example. Negative 3 multiply by positive 4, which can also be written as 3 multiplied by 4. So what will the answer be? It will be root 2. The signs are different, so the result is going to be negative. So you put your negative. 3 multiply 4, the answer is 12. So this is minus 12. Let's try another one. Let's say 3 multiply by negative 4. The result will be, using root 2, negative 12. Alright, so let's take other example. Let's say negative 5 multiply by 6. Which rule are we going to follow? Rule 1 or 2? Of course, rule 2, because the signs are different. So what do? We already know our result is going to be negative, so we just put the negative there. So 5 multiply 6, the result is 30. So this is our answer, negative 30. Let's say the question is giving us 5 multiply negative 6. The result is still negative 30. Using the rule. Alright, let's move to the next one. Division of integers. Division of integers have the same rule as multiplication of integers. If the signs are the same, your result is positive. If the signs are different, your result is negative. But before we move, let me try to explain something about division. I'm sure you understand or know what it means to divide. Division means splitting a number into equal parts. In this form, P divided by Q, which will result to Z. The P is known as the dividend. The Q is known as the divisor, and the Z is known as the quotient. The P is the dividend, the Q is the divisor, and the Z is the quotient. Let's take it off. So we can take some example. Let's say 15 divide by 3. This can also be written as 15 over 3. Both signs are positive. So what will be the result? Using rule 1, we'll be using rule 1 because both signs are positive. So same sign is positive answer. So we already know our answer is going to be positive. So 15 divided by 3, the result is 5. Okay, so let's say negative 15 divide by negative 3, which can also be expressed as 15 over 3. Now, still with the rule 1, same sign, our result is still going to be positive 5. Okay, so let's say 15 divide by negative 3 can also be written as 15 over negative 3. The result using rule 2 now because the signs are different. Always look at the rule. When the signs are different, negative is going to be our result. When the signs are the same, positive is going to be our result. So in this case, we'll be having a negative answer. And then 15 divided by 3, the result is 5. Okay, let's try the last one. Negative 15 divided by 3 can also be expressed as negative 15 all over 3. Our result is negative 5. Video, you'll be the first to receive it, and thank you. If you have not subscribed to our channel, if you've not followed us, bye for now. Please do well to hit the like button, comment, and hit the notification bell